What up? Just figured I'd go live for a little while and hang out because we're just sitting at the house doing nothing. Just a slow Saturday. What's going on? Trading me that pie. Yeah, if you guys haven't seen the app yet, you guys got to get on that. It's I'll put a link here. You can follow that link. Yeah, hit the like button on your way in. There's 51 people watching already, and 8 of you hit the like button. Just hit the like button. Let's see how many we can get up there real quick. I'm going to be reading super chat questions, and put your comment over in the question or your question over in the comments, and I'll read it and see what's going on. I'm going to start from the top here. See what we got. If you're just joining in, I'm going to do just like a live Q&A, just hanging out. I found this cool car. I was looking through my closets, and I found this cool little RX-7. Pretty sweet. I have a little RC version, a black one that's about the same size as this. It's pretty cool. Okay, so let's see what we got here. I'm going to read if you guys have any questions. Are you going to build an R34 Skyline? Man, I built an R34 Skyline already, like 5 years ago. You can go back and look at the videos. You can see what I put together. It was a GTT. I've done GTRs, multiple R34s. So, yeah, that's pretty easy. Let's see here. Oh, I did something there. Oh, that's pretty strange. Ethan Colella. Hope I said that right. Or Colella. I don't know. Maybe you're Spanish. Love all you guys. Any more RC content coming? Yeah, absolutely. I was actually thinking about getting my truck out, that green truck. If you guys didn't see that video, I put together an old truck that I had and kind of updated it, put a new battery in it and stuff, and it moves pretty good. So put that together. I want to take that thing out and do some more stuff with it. So yes, more RC on the way for sure. I see Hurricane Ian's in here. What's going on, bro? And let me go back. I think I missed a couple people already. If you're just joining in, hit the like button. 77 people on board already. If you look up in the chats, I have a link to an app that I've been messing around with. It's a cryptocurrency app that just came out. And it seems pretty cool because you just use your phone to mine it, which I think is kind of cool. So the link's in the comments. It's up towards the top. It's called Pi. It's pretty cool. Okay, let me get down here. Ed Hale, what's going on, bro? Do you think a rotary engine can survive in a tow vehicle? Random, I know. Yes, I'll answer that real quick. Basically, rotary engines are so reliable compared to a piston engine as long as you give it plenty of lubrication and it's tuned right. So from the factory, Mazda had to conform to a lot of EPA standards. They weren't allowed to burn that much oil, and they live off of burning oil. So in the aviation world, they use rotary engines, which is crazy to think, but they use them because of their reliability, and the oil that's in them keeps them going. So a lot less restrictions on aviation. They're allowed to use leaded fuels. They don't have catalytic converters. It's a completely different world. So yeah, I do think in a tow vehicle, you could create something. The question is, would it have enough power to tow? You'd have to use a crazy gear reduction, some kind of like, like an off-road gear reduction that would basically allow the RPM to stay high and the tire RPM to stay low. So Cool. Interesting question. I'm down for that. Thank you. And just so you know, I'm gonna keep the chat going as long as the super chat's alive. So I plan to be here for about an hour, but if it goes longer than that, it's because the super chat is still active. You can see it up in the corner. You've got that going on. So, all right, let's see what we got here. Oh, Jason Humphrey, what's going on, man? Yeah, I got all your cool little stuff. Jason is a good friend of the shop, and he dropped off a lot of really cool things for us, and really appreciate him coming through all the time because he's always bringing goodies. Here's a couple of his goodies right here. Look at this sweet set of DVDs, these option auto DVDs, which I love, absolutely love. It's like my favorite series of stuff. Option, also a hot version. I love hot version, but this is one of the. Look at this. That's old school as old school can get right there. We're talking serious old school. This thing's VHS. Look at that. Some of you guys have probably never even seen VHS. It's just scary. Anyway. Oh, he says he's mailing me something. That's good. Am I going to LZ's open house next Sunday? Is it next Sunday? I don't know. I'd like to, for sure. If it's next Sunday, let me see. We'll see how it goes. The fish. How are the fish? The fish are doing good. The big tank. It's good that you mentioned that. I had a casualty in the big tank. The tangs ganged up on one of the other tangs and killed him. It sucks, but sometimes that's just how it goes. But the rest of the fish are good. What else? Oh, my lobster. I had a purple reef lobster. He finally passed away. But he was getting pretty old. He was about 7 or 8 years old. What else? Oh, Hurricane Ian, what's going on? $5. Thank you, sir. I say that all the time when people say rotaries are unreliable. I say the use of them in planes. You just have to take care of them. Yep, and that's it. You know, if you keep them well lubricated, it's like an age secret for rotaries. So never sleep on the lubrication. You got to keep that oil. And I like pre-mixing rather than using or relying on the OMP, which is the oil metering pump, comes from the factory. The oil metering pump has a tiny little area that it puts oil, and it kind of starves the rest of the area of contact. So by using the fuel injection, you end up putting in a lot more oil. I use both. That's the best. The OMP is putting it right at the point of the apex seal in the flat, and then the ports are bringing it in from the sides. So you get oil from all around. The best move, if you ask me. All right, let's see here. It was 12 years old when VHS came out. There you go. So you remember VHS then for sure. All right, let's see. I'm going to go down here. Oh, Pico's in here. What's going on, Pico? I see you. Do a Honda build. Maybe a Honda motorcycle. Never fear the Tickle Me Elmo. What is your favorite firearm? All right, we could talk firearms. That's a good one. Favorite firearm. I mean, there's so many. You gotta put them into their categories. So obviously, I would say the most popular firearm is a handgun. So we'll start with handguns. But as far as handguns go, I would say my favorite is probably your standard Glock. My personal favorite Glock is going to be the Glock 27. It's a subcompact 40 cal, but it's pretty good. That thing's got some power, and it's very small in size. So I daily carry that I also daily carry my 380. So I got like a backup daily carry. It's ridiculous. It sounds ridiculous, but yeah, firearms. I love firearms. So I got quite a few. Let's see. Going through the comments. 1911. Yeah, absolutely. I have a 1911. I love 1911s. That's just the most classic design. You know, it's just a very straightforward, and it's 45 ACP, so it's a pretty punchy round. That thing packs some punch, but you don't carry that much. So it's a single stack. It's not a heavy amount of rounds for its form factor. It's pretty big. You know, it's a large size handgun. If you're just joining in, hit that like button for me, and if you've got a question, super chat right there. Get it in there. And I'm going to answer it. I'm going to keep things going. As long as the super chat is alive, then the stream stays going. Hopefully you guys don't want to pay to watch me sleep, because at some point I will get that tired, but I will keep this thing going. Pico's asking thoughts on the Toyota actually making a Sequoia in TRD Pro trim. Well, I mean, I guess in pre-runner fashion, that's definitely something I would expect them to do. And I mean, Sequoia is a big boy, and Americans love their big SUVs, so I'm not going to argue with them. They've definitely done the market research to determine whether or not that's worth it. Supra is coming to Forza. Yes, I saw that. That's pretty cool. We were talking about that, I think, in the last stream, and I'm really curious to see how they represent it. Hopefully they allow us to make those big 1,000 horsepower setups on it, just like in real life. You know, one thing about Forza that annoys me is like the turbo lag is not realistic. They need to add some lag to it to make it realistic. It feels too insane. It feels like the car's got nitrous on it. You can like hit it at 2,000 RPM, it starts to spool quick. So that would be cool. Zachary Torres, $2. Can my wife and kids and I come check out HP? Absolutely. I tell everybody all the time, come by. If I'm there, great. You know, I'll sit and chat. Anyone who's come by the shop can tell you that, you know, if I'm not busy at the moment you come by, then I'm down to sit and talk and just hang out. But absolutely, come by. Come by. We're always around. Sometimes we're there at odd hours too. It doesn't hurt to call ahead just to see who's there. Just let us know that you're going to come by. Shaw usually answers the phone, and he will have no problem letting you know what's going on. There's always something cool to see at the shop, and I love having people come by. Let's see here. Jack, I wanted to ask you, what's the most important thing for a 70cc scooter for it to be powerful and fast? And this is from Latvia, Ricards. All right, man. No problems. I understand you just fine. I would say most important thing for a 70cc scooter is definitely going to be the CVT tuning. You're going to want to change the rollers, and you're going to want to set up your CVT. Consider getting an overrange and ditching the electric start. That's definitely a good move. You're going to pick up a lot of top end. I've got a Aerox 70 that I did that too, and if you haven't seen the videos on that, just go back and look. There's not many Aeroxes here in the U.S., but you guys in Europe and all over the world know that it's a bad little mother. It's just called the Nitro, but yeah, the Aerox does 75 miles an hour, and it's not that crazy of a setup. I think it made like 16 horsepower, which is, I guess, okay. It's pretty good, but it really gets the job done top end wise. It cruises easily at 70 miles an hour. Easily. If you tuck down, you get the big speed up top. But sitting straight up, I'm over 70. It's a hoot to drive. I love it. Okay, let me catch up here. We got some stuff to go through. And on that same note, someone asked me where the scooter vids are. I definitely want to do some more scooter videos. I'm just slacking. It's been the theme is just a lot of slacking. If you can have one car in a world that you never had, what would it be? A lot of you guys know the answer to this question. So I'm going to let you guys answer it over here. Watch for your answer over here. You hardcore guys know which car I've never had. That is my car, my dream car that I would always pick number one. So put it over here on the side. What do you think of PFI Speed's bully build? I saw it. It's a really cool setup. It's different in a way because it's a 6-cylinder, so there's a lot of extra mass up front, but it's front-wheel drive, so it's kind of interesting. It kind of pulls its way down the track, so the back end's just kind of following along. I can't wait to see it actually make a pull. I think it's a little sketchy, considering that the weight is there. Anytime you create a lot of traction and a lot of power over the drive wheels, there's always a tendency for a directional or torque steer. You have a lot of stuff going on there. So be cool to see it. They obviously know what they're doing, so I'm interested to see that. And let's go over to the comments to see. And yes, NFG Bonnie, he's correct. Looks like he was the first one to answer the question. Oveles S, he answered it as well. The answer to that question is my dream car is a Ferrari F40. That's one car that I have a Ferrari, but the F40 is like, man, it's just, I don't know. You know, when I was a kid, seeing it on the wall, seeing it for the first time in person, that was just an epic experience. And I'm a huge, longtime fan of the Cavallino Classic, which is a Ferrari show that comes here every year. And I go every year and I see some cool stuff. So get to see the F40s, get to see the old classic Ferraris. It's really fun. It's actually coming up. It's in January, I think. So let's see. Hurricane Ian says, yeah, he loves Geos. Hey, I'm not going to hate on a tracker. Remember the Geo Storm? That was fun. And, of course, the Metro. Outrun, that's right. Well, Outrun was actually the Testarossa. That was a Ferrari Testarossa. But, yeah, same era, you know. The F40 was the big boy, like the not the big boy, but like the race car Ferrari, you know. Fastest car you ever drove. Fastest car I ever drove is going to probably be a completely modded out 1,300 horsepower Nissan GTR that we built a while back. It was a 8-second car. Well, I mean, when I say it was an 8-second car, it probably could have gone 7s if it was set up to do that, but it wasn't. It was like a half-mile car, and it was an absolute monster. That car was so fast, just hard to imagine how fast that car really was, because usually cars like that are done in a quarter mile, and this thing had the gearing to keep going through the half mile, and it was well over 200 miles an hour. So pretty scary. Let's see. How did you get your R34 GTT? You know, a lot of people ask me that question, but basically it was already in the US. Those cars are not 25 years old, and a friend of mine had it. I don't know exactly the process to get it into the country legally, because I know that there are ways to do it, but I'm not able to do that. But my friend did have it already, and we made a deal, and I traded it eventually for my 3-rotor FD. So not going to argue. It was a fun car, though. R34 GTT. I love that Neo engine. It's so strong for what it is. It's got basically the heart of a GTR in the bottom end. It's got solid lifters in the top end. I mean, it's an awesome motor for what it is. Variable valve time, or variable cam timing as well from the factory. So a very updated and fresh version of the RB. And in my opinion, if they would have put that kind of technology into the RB26, you would have ended up with the ultimate inline 6-cylinder. it would. And I mean, I guess they kind of do have these things now in other brands, BMW, and they have those variable cam timings and stuff like that. But I don't know. It would have been the RB26 is such an epic motor for what it is. I like it. I would have loved to see that Neo technology get into it. Shout out from California. What's going on? All right, let's see what we got here. Canadian gray market. Yeah, pretty much something. Yeah, that's another one. The Canadians got the cars after 10 years. So for the past 10 years or so, they've been in the country already. Let's see here. Like I say, use the super chat, guys. That way I can focus in on it. Otherwise, I'm just going through all these questions that I see. If you're just joining us, I'm doing a Q&A. I'd like to use the super chat because it helps out and it makes it easier for me to kind of focus in on your question. What type of music are you into? I'm into all kinds of music. I mean, literally anything. I love anything from classical to country to rap to rock. I mean, I'm all over the place. I like, electronic music. I play some stuff. I play keyboard. I've got my own keyboard and stuff. But let's see. I'm going back to the bottom. It looks like someone asked the same question twice. When is the next moped video? I kind of asked that. I already asked that earlier. Get any good Black Friday deals? I don't get into the Black Friday hype because I am a firm believer that Black Friday technology is from yesterday. So if it's a Black Friday deal, it's probably something that's going out and you're going to see something new coming in to replace it. That's my take on Black Friday. All right, let's see what we got here. Need to set up an appointment to get my FD tuned with you. I had to cancel last time due to me selling my house. Oh man, Spirit Our Garage. You got a name like that. We got to make sure your FD runs good. Don't slack. I'm assuming you sold your house. That was a good thing, and if so, great, congrats. But otherwise, yeah, schedule. Let's get you in. You know the deal. Get the side-by-side blog lads to help you out with the side-by-side. I tried. I sent them multiple messages. I'm not big enough for them, I guess. They didn't answer me. Cool channel. I love those guys. I think they're awesome. I love watching their videos and stuff. And I wanted to try and do something with them just for fun. But they ended up, I saw them helping out Cletus with a build, which is kind of cool. I'd love to hang out with them, though. Okay. All right. It's on Haltech Elite. Yeah, definitely. Jack doesn't want to get trampled for an off-brand 50-inch TV. They don't call him Big Stack Jack for nothing. They call me Big Stack Jack? Big stack of pancakes. I definitely don't want a 50-inch TV, though. Look at this. I already got this. I don't even know how big that thing is. 62 or something. I need something bigger, though. I was in Costco the other day, and they had like an 82-inch or 86-inch monstrosity TV. $3,000. That was cool. That thing won't even fit on my wall. I don't know what I would do with it. How can I record the 0 to 30 on my moped? Get a VBox or a Draggy. I use the VBox. Do I have it with me? I might have it with me. Might be in for a live view. Look through my stuff. Here we go. This is what I have. This is a VBox Sport. This is, in my opinion, the most accurate GPS device for tracking performance. I've been using this for a couple of years now, and it's been super solid. Never lets me down. the program or the app is just a little bit cumbersome to use, but once you get a hang of it, you're able to navigate it pretty easily. But this thing is really accurate. I believe it's 10 hertz, maybe even 20 hertz. I can't remember, but it's fast. Really quick update speed. So you end up with a very precise measurement of speed. For 0 to 30 especially, you're going to want something really precise. Once it's locked in on GPS, it's done. You got that. If you're just joining the chat, make sure you hit the like button. Thank you. Welcome. We are talking questions and answers, just talking some stuff. Use the super chat if you care. And if you don't, then oh well. How much it cost? The VBox Sport, I think it's like $200, maybe $250. I can't remember. You have to go on eBay or something and look it up, but it's worth it. Once you have it, I mean, I've used it so many times for testing. It's like basically having a dyno in your pocket. Would you tune a 3-valve Mustang? I used to tune them. I really have no preference on them. When it comes to tuning, what you realize is there's always somebody who gets popular in a specific segment or category. And I have friends that are big into Mustangs. I have 2 tuning friends who are monsters in this. If you've had a Mustang tune, you've probably had it tuned by them. So they're local and they're into it. So there's just no reason really for me to try and get into that. That's I stick with what I'm known for, and I usually have good luck with that. So all right, what do we got here? Favorite car of Rudnick's? Blueberry. I love the Blueberry. That was my car. I let him buy it from me. I want to stress that. Like that car to me was the ultimate Miata. It's a roadster clearly, but I thought who better to have it than Chris, just because he is Ricer Miata and he's known for the Miatas, and I know him. I know he's going to take care of that one specifically. So I have no problems with him taking that. But that's my favorite car of his, if we're going to get serious. I do like his other Roadster as well because of the SR20, but it's rough on the edges. That Roadster is polished. It's a really clean car. Joshua Munoz, thank you for the super chat. How close is Gainesville Raceway from you? I work on a nitro dragster and will love to see you guys come out. Gainesville is about 8 hours away from me, man. It's far, maybe even a little less, like 7 hours, 6-7 hours. It's up there. I'm all the way in South Florida, and Gainesville is up in North Florida. So I have been there for the is it Citrus Nationals they call it? I can't remember, but I've seen Top Fuel cars there. Gator Nationals, that's what it is. Gator Nationals, I believe. Top Fuel cars are the shit. I love Top Fuel cars. They're just incredible to watch in person. If you've never seen a Top Fuel dragster or a funny car in person, a piece of your life is missing still. You have to go see one of those, make a pass. You feel it in your chest. They used to come down here to Palm Beach International Raceway. I haven't seen them in a couple of years though. But they used to come here in the wintertime when everywhere else was frozen out. They could come down here and do their testing. The weather's perfect. The DA is really good, and they can get some. They always would be setting record passes down here, but I haven't seen them in a while. Last time I went was, I want to say like 2015, 2014, somewhere in there. Maybe it was 14, 15. Anyway, I have a piston signed by John Force that I got from right after one of his passes. And I also have a connecting rod from Daryl Gwynn. If you guys are familiar with Top Fuel racing of the of the past, you'll know that Daryl Gwynn was a prominent drag racer in the time when John Force was coming up, and he was in a very catastrophic accident that put him in a chair. And it's a very incredible story. He survived, and he's now rallying around all the other guys to help raise awareness for his cause. So I met him in person. He was the one that introduced me to John Force. Well, actually, I met John Force a long time ago at SEMA one time in the bathroom. That was fun. I have pictures. It was great. But realistically, I was able to spend a little bit of time with John and talk to him for a little bit, thanks to Daryl. So it's a really, really great experience. But to answer your question, yeah, I'd love to come up and see some dragsters sometime. What team do you work for, if you don't mind me asking? You don't have to answer in here. You can send me a private message sometime if you want. Let's see here. What do you think of the new Haltech IC7 display? I was thinking about getting it to eliminate some gauges. We actually have a couple coming. We ordered a couple. We're going to have them in stock soon. I'll be able to get my hands on them, maybe hook one up to Dusty or something and test it out. I like it. I'm a big fan of these TFT displays. I think they're really cool. That they have a lot of potential. You can create your own dashboard basically and reconfigure all of it to show what sensors you want to monitor and see. And it's a big step from like the old AIM dashes and LED, regular LED, like non-configurable formats. So really interested to see how it turns out. Price point's really good, and the connectivity is really good too. It's a CAN bus signal, so it doesn't need to use just the Haltech. You can use it on other systems too. Anyone that has like a CAN out, you can use it on those. I think like AEM, Motec, some of those other ones. It's able to actually take that signal that's coming out, and you can use that dash. So you have the form factor that's a little different. So it's like a pure rectangle, while some of the other ones are kind of like a trapezoid shape. So we'll see what it looks like. But yeah, excited to see that for sure. That's a good one. Electric, when I saw something that said electric, but I think it keeps moving faster than I was able to see it. Electric drag bikes about to be faster than funny car or top fuel. I don't know about that, but I do like electric stuff. I like electric bikes. I was actually just talking to Rudnick about this. There's this company that makes these really cool electric, like almost motocross bikes. They're like a very small motocross bike. They were called like Suron, I think. Anyway, I really want one. If anybody who's watching this has anything to do with those electric bikes, hit me up. I really want one. I want to like daily drive one. I want to like actually like do something with it. So I'm really interested in those, and I think it would be really cool to kind of mod one, hop one up using some of like the RC technology, RC car technology with those controllers that they have now. I mean, something 10, 12, 13 kilowatts would be insane to drive in the size of like a small motocross or bicycle size thing. It would be insane. I'd love to drive that. Let's see here. Fly, but not legally. I don't have a pilot's license, but I go up with Shaw. He's a pilot, and I fly RC everything: helicopters, fixed wing, you name it. I love flying. I think it's fun. Okay, let's see. Can I get a shout out? Maybe. I don't know. Can you? Junior Skate Kid? Maybe. You familiar tuning on KPro? Yes. Yep, I've used KPro. KPro was one of the first systems I actually tuned a long time ago. So, yes, I am familiar with KPro. If you're just joining, hit the like button for me on your way in, and welcome. I'm just doing some Q&A. If you have a question for me, put it in the super chat, please. That way I can benefit from your question and everyone else can hear the answer. Somebody said something about pie. I'm going to mention that again. If you guys are just joining me, then you saw that I put up a Instagram post, and I put it in the video also, in the last video. There's like this cool crypto app that just came out that uses your phone to mine, which I thought was really cool. I'm going to put a link over here in the side so you guys can help me out. It's called Pi. And I already have an account. I'm going to give you this link. Hopefully that works. There you go. Follow that link and enter my invitation code, obviously, and you'll end up part of my earning circle. So it's pretty cool. I downloaded Pi. Can't wait to be a millionaire. Now, you might have to wait, unless you already are a millionaire. Then you don't have to wait. But, yeah. Cybertruck looks like a Minecraft user built it. Okay, yeah, Cybertruck. I made a video about that. I didn't get too many views, but I'll still talk about it. If Pico's watching, he's into it. He likes it. Pico likes all that retro jazz. He's into it. But anyway, Cybertruck, if you didn't see that, the reveal or unveiling or whatever you want to call it, they rolled this thing out, and I literally took a double take and wondered if they were going to eventually bring out the real one. It was so fabricated looking. I mean, it literally looks like, if you haven't seen it yet, you're missing out. It literally looks like an 8-bit video game. I don't even know what to call it. It's a polygonal video game truck car. It doesn't even look like a truck. They say it's a truck, but it doesn't look like a truck. So, I mean, and I say that as if a truck has to look a certain way, but seriously, there's a reason why trucks have the shape that they have. But Elon Musk in the chat. Yeah, I wish he was. That would be great. We could talk to him. All right, let's see what we got here. How much power can you make on a stock 2JZGE? Well, it's not turbo, so assuming you mean adding a turbo kit, then on a stock motor, I would say probably around 380 to 400. I wouldn't want to push it much harder than that. They're a little higher compression, being non-turbo, and they're not as strong as the GTEs. They don't have the piston squirters for the oil. There's a lot of stuff that's different. So I wouldn't try to go past that. That's wheel horsepower, by the way. So do you remember the Smoky Nagata Top Speed Supra? Yeah, of course I do. Of course I do. That was on Option Video, I believe. I met Smoky Nagata this year. That was really fun. Went to Tokyo Auto Salon and got to meet him. And then a couple of my buddies lived down here, and they bought the V12 Supra. They actually own it, called Trap Team. Really cool. So definitely, I know all about that. Hurricane Ian, what's going on? Your phone effing up, jumping off of here. Still plan on getting up here this winter to tune these cars, by the way. Got to get the S14 done, and hopefully we can get 1,000 horsepower out of it. Hopefully, man. I really hope so. Hurricane Ian, thanks again. And if you're jumping off of here, have a good one, man. We'll see you again soon. But appreciate that super chat, bro. It means a lot to me. 1,000 horsepower. That would be so good. S14, can it handle it? Actually, you know what? The TRC guys had 1,000 horsepower Supra, but they had a 2J in it. But that thing got it. Had an infinity rear end. I believe it was in the 7s. It ran like 780s or something like that. It was super fast. Joshua, hit me up with that $5 super chat again. Thank you, sir. Exterminator, TMC Racing. Okay, I'll check it out. Test in Arizona in off season. SEMA is the place. Love talking to Gail Banks. I met Gail Banks. I met Gail Banks a long time ago, and a few Motor Trend guys on YouTube. Wow. Gail Banks is, if you guys don't know who Gail Banks is, you need to do some research. He is one of the originators in the aftermarket scene with turbochargers. And in the 80s, you couldn't stop the man. He was a monster. So I met Gail Banks back in 2008. No, before that, 2007 at PRI. And I was really happy to meet him. I met Gail Banks, and I met Vic Edelbrock Jr. too. That was also a very humbling experience. So those guys are like pioneers of the sport, you know? So anytime you get to meet some of those older veterans of the industry, they have so much knowledge and just so many memories trapped up here. And they just love to talk about it and get the enthusiasm into the next generation. So really cool. Option or hot version? Both. Period. If you watch one, you got to watch the other. Option is like the older, like I was just showing these earlier. Our good friend Jason. These are option right here, and then hot version is like the newer, like more like what's the word? Contemporary racing. So option though is like the originator. They did like street racing and all kinds of cool stuff in Japan. And can't wait. I want to go back to Japan. I want to go to the mountains and see some of those awesome tracks that are out there. Last time we went in January, I got to meet all the HKS guys, go to Tokyo Auto Salon, saw a whole bunch. Luckily, we had the best Uber I've ever had. Tommy, if you're watching, Tommy's like, he gets around. And tell you what, you want to go to any country, he'll figure out best way to get around. And he had the international driver's license and rented a couple cars, and we had a lot of fun. So I'd love to do that again with him. Am I going to PRI? You know, they moved PRI to Indianapolis, so it's just not in me to get there. It doesn't make sense. It's like it's a plane ride and hotel and hanging out in the freezing cold. When they used to have it down here in Orlando, I mean, 75 degrees, 80 degrees, no problem in the middle of February, January, December, when it was in December, no problem. And it's only 2.5 hours away from me. So I was able to just crank up there and come back home the same day. But now they just made it, if it had enough significance for me, then I would go. But I'm not an exhibitor. I'm not, it would require like some company asking me to represent them or being with them in order for me to go to PRI. Otherwise, I would be a spectator, and I can do that from the internet now. So not really too worried about it. SEMA was the same way. I wanted to go. I always say I want to go, but at the same time, it's just such a big effort to try and get to SEMA and like enjoy it. So one more question. What does the big spring change to the acceleration? Okay, we're talking about scooters again, just in case anyone else gets lost on this. The big spring is basically counteracting the roller weights. So it does the same thing basically. If you go smaller on roller weights, the RPM stays higher. If you go tighter on the big spring, the RPM stays higher. So it's the same as having lighter rollers. If you go lighter on the big spring, it's like having a big spring, and that'll do the same thing without adding mass to the whole thing. But you have less grip on the belt. So if you're making a ton of power, you're going to need that heavier spring and those heavier rollers. If you're not making too much power, you can get away with it. So, pro tip. Shaw can fly you out. Yeah, he can, but it would cost me more. Shaw's playing, gas on that thing, and it's not nowhere near as fast as the commercial airliners. Those things fly 600 miles an hour. Shaw's plane flies like 200, 250 miles an hour. So it would take me 3 times as long to get there. It would be fun, though. Shaw, if you're watching, let's do a cross-country trip. That would be fun. We just got to raise some money. We'll do like a GoFundMe to to fill up Shaw's plane with gas so we can fly across the country. If you're just getting here, hit the thumbs up. Hit those thumbs up. I'm answering questions. Use the super chat. Help me out. It's going to keep on going. I got 15 minutes left on the live stream unless the super chat is active. If that's active, and I'll stay on here as long as you guys want me to. At some point, I will fall asleep, though. So if you want to pay me to go to sleep, that'll be fun. I'm not responsible for what I say in my sleep, by the way. Rafflecopter 117. Thanks for the Canadian loonies or whatever you guys have up there. Can we get a 300Z or 240 SX buys guide? I'm assuming you mean a buyer's guide, but I mean, 300ZXs are essentially a Fairlady Z. Roberto's really into those cars. That's like his favorite car besides the Lamborghini Diablo in yellow, in case anybody wants to send him a cool little car. But anyway, the 300ZX, strong motor. Find one that's in good shape. That's my best recommendation, though, because if you've got one that's in kind of beat down condition, man, they are just nightmares. And nobody likes to work on a nightmare. I can tell you that. 240SX, same story. Only difference is I think a 240SX is a more generic car, so to speak. So you got to do more to it to make it special. 300ZX is kind of special straight from the get-go. Pain in the butt as far as like working on them, though. It's very tight. But a lot of cars are that way from the factory. Once you get stuff off of the car and kind of open it up a little bit, it's a fun car. 240SX though, power plant's very weak, so you're gonna have to probably put an SR20 or something else in there to really make any power. Can turbocharge the KA. It's a great motor, but you have to build it. You can't just turbocharge it and go. All right, what we got here? Yeah, I got you, buyer's guide. I saw it. You joined my PI. I'm going to check. I'm going to go see what my PI, see how many people we got on there. In 1 second. PI. Oh, boy. Oh, man, we got 100 people on there. That's good. Let's keep that going. If you guys are interested in that, it's an app called PI, mindpi.com. I'm going to put another link one more time here, just so you guys can see. If you want to join my little network of earning. It's a cryptocurrency that's hitting the market, but it's an interesting approach. They're using your phone to mine. It's the first one that uses your phone. You don't have to go buy a fancy mining rig and crazy graphics processors and stuff. When the first rush started, it wasn't even a rush. When Bitcoin was first introduced, before it went public or any of that, I had a couple of friends that were into it, and they mentioned to me, they're like, yeah, you should try it out. You know, it doesn't cost anything. You can just run a program on your computer, and it just mines the thing for you. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I set that up, and back then, you know, it took forever, but I think I had like 2 Bitcoin, and I was like, this sucks. It takes way too long. I'm just going to forget it. And my friend, he quit after doing it for a while, but I used to make fun of him because he had this big like rig in his closet and stuff. And I was like, what are you going to do with it? He's like, I have no idea, but if it works, it works. But his electric bill was high and all this stuff. And boy, I tell you, man, when it took off last year and went to $20,000, he made out. So anyway, let me put this in here because I'm not going to miss that opportunity ever again, even if it's a small version of it. If you're just joining in, hit the like button. I like seeing those likes close to the amount of people that are watching. That makes me feel good. It makes me feel like you guys appreciate it. Use the super chat. I'll answer your questions. And if you want to join my mining circle for this new crypto, I'm going to put it right here. Can't talk while I type. It's a real problem. I think I did that right. All right. There you go. So you can go check that out. Use my username BoostCrazy as the invitation code so that we join up as a circle. And then every 24 hours, you just got to go in there and check it out and make sure you're active on it. All right. I'm watching from New Zealand. You're using a programmed code already written. Else, how could it show you unless you just got to understand the script for color TV? I don't know what you just tried to say. Sorry. Maybe I'm just out of it, but who has dusted Dusty? No one. Not because Dusty's the fastest car in the world, just because I haven't actually lost a race in Dusty. And that could just be because I don't necessarily select or go after races with people who have cars that are so much faster than Dusty. But I have not, I'm trying to think, I have not lost a race in Dusty. Dusty's pretty quick. I'll tell you at the, oh, you know what? I mean, there have been a couple little instances, like at one of the TRC events, I ran a GTR that beat me. I think. I don't even remember, I'll be honest with you. But regardless, I mean, Dusty's not the fastest car in the world, but it is a pretty quick car for what it is. It's a solid 9-second R32. So it's a happy little car for the street. And let's go see here. Greetings from Greece. Yay, Greece. What's going on? I had some guys come to the shop last week from Norway. That was pretty cool. I think that's the first Norwegians that have come through, but they were in town to go to a couple of other shops. So it was really cool to meet them, and I'd like to get over there sometime. But Greece, that's another one. I don't think too many. I can't think of anyone that's come visit me from Greece. So if you ever come over, hang out. Pico's future tri-motor truck. We already talked about that, Pico. What'd you do? Leave for a little while? Tell them the Viper story. The Viper story. Ah, yes. That was Dusty. One night. Well, I'm going to say one night. There was a big Facebook blowout with a guy that basically started with his whole like cocky, you know, I'm faster than your import thing, and you know, chopsticks and JDM this and that. So I was like, hey, you know, anytime, I'll walk you just like a dog. So we went back and forth for like a week, and it was hot and heavy in the Facebook forums. And then eventually we did meet up. I did give him his one race, and I did beat him by quite a bit. And it was really funny, too, because the camera car was a built Hellcat that I think he thought he was going to give me a run also. And both of them had seats at Gapplebee's, courtesy of Dusty. ARW with a $5 super chat. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. What kind of hot and cold oil pressure are you seeing on Dusty versus RPM with stock pump sump or average you see on GTRs you tune? Also preference on oil. All right. It's a pretty big subject, but we can tackle that. So cold oil pressure in Dusty, I'm using the stock factory gauge, which is arguably inaccurate, but mine seems to work. So for whatever reason, I'm just going to leave it that way. Cold, I'm more 4.5 bar with I'm using Rotella 1540. So cold, I'm seeing about 4.5 bar, which is about 60 to 70 psi, something like that. And then warm, it's at about 2 bar, so it's probably about 30, 35 psi. That's idling. Driving at full swing, warm, seeing like 60 psi, 40, between 50 and 60 psi, something like that, which is totally fine. Never had any problems. The oil that I use is Rotella 1540. So if you are into oil, you want to know what the best oil you can possibly use is, I use Rotella because it has zinc and phosphorus in it. Now, there are oils that have zinc and phosphorus in them as well that are marked as racing oils, like Royal Purple. They have a zinc and phosphorus formula. Redline has a zinc and phosphorus formula. I'm sure there's some other ones. The key words you want to see, though, is if they use the words break-in oil or racing oil, that's going to have more zinc and phosphorus. Zinc and phosphorus together create this compound called ZVDP, which is an extremely slippery compound. It's bad for catalytic converters, and it's bad for your lungs. So they don't really make too much of that oil because most cars have catalytic converters now, and that oil is not good for that. Same thing with DPFs. If you have a diesel truck or a diesel car, like my TDI, that is now a deleted car. It does not have the DPF anymore, so I was able to switch from an ashless oil to good old tried and true zinc and phosphorus loaded motor oil. You can also get an additive. It's a zinc additive or a break-in additive that you can get from like Lucas and some of the other companies that make it. And you can pour that and add that to your oil, and it will bring up the zinc and phosphorus levels. So that's another pro tip. But yeah, Dusty and most of the stock oil pump GTRs, RB26s, that's typical oil pressure. You want to see at least 30 to 40 cold, and you want to see at least 15 to 20 warm at idle. So if it's less than that, consider taking her down. Let's see here. Let me get back caught up. Opinion on CVT WRX. CVTs in cars are tough, man. They just don't have the holding power. They slip pretty bad when you start to make any kind of power at all. So I'm not a fan of that. If you guys are just joining, look, the thumbs up is bigger than the people watching, which I guess is kind of sad because there's not too many people watching. Only got 100 people, but then again, 100 people is not bad. I'm not going to complain. I can't talk to 100 people at one time. So use a super chat, and I will use that to talk to you. Talk about Fort Myers and Naples experiences. What about it? What about Fort Myers and Naples? I have family in Fort Myers, actually. Let's see. Opinions on Saturns. I'm going to say the Saturn SC2. A lot of people like the Ion red line, right? That was another one. And then the Sky. That was like the Solstice, basically. Those were all kind of decent cars. But the SC2 was, in my opinion, it was just a cool, like, it was like a Cavalier. But it had that Ecotec motor, and you could really juice them things up. They took nitrous really well. I know. One of my friends had one, and we used to spray it everywhere. 100 shot every day, all day, anywhere. It was just kept on going. That was a cool Saturn. Jack, bring back the weather reports. We have no weather. When the hurricanes come, I'm talking. Otherwise, there's nothing to talk about. Weather's great. It's Florida. It doesn't get any better. That's it. You guys all around the country right now are freezing. It's probably snowing. You can't go outside. You can't do anything. I was going to go surfing today. That was what I was going to do. And I was too lazy. So instead, I cleaned my garage and got my bicycle out. So, yeah. Weather report, Florida, it's great right now. Promise. Opinions on Harleys. I had a Harley. I had a Sportster that I built up. It was an 883 that I built a 1250 high compression hammer engine out of. And it was pretty nasty. It was a 100 plus horsepower motor to the wheel. It's pretty strong. It's not as strong as my Ducati though. So Harleys, I don't know. They have their own place in the world because they are historic. They're unique in their V twin. They're unique in their firing, the way that they sound. It's just a big American motorcycle. They're heavy, typically. I know they were trying to get into some of the like more modern stuff. I saw some liquid cooled stuff. I mean, there was always there was the V Rod that was cool, but they have some like newer school stuff that's kind of, I don't know, metro-y. It's kind of hard to explain, but I'd be curious to see if Harley tries to do some big electric stuff. That'd be kind of interesting. Somebody's got to take over for the electric stuff. I mentioned this earlier. I'm going to mention it again. If anybody is associated with or into the e-bikes or electronic bikes, the like motocross, electronic, almost like mountain bike, motocross crossover type thing, I really want one, and I would love to have a connection that could help me get into one of those. That if you've got the ability to get your boy on one, hit me up, email me, jack@horsepowerlogic.com. I would really love to do some work with a company that's into those, because I feel like that's a good wave that's going to come. So these things are, I think there's a company called Suron or something like Suron, I think it's called. They make one that's really cool. I just want one that I'm going to daily commute. I'm going to take it to work every day. I'm going to save some gas. I'm going to plug into my neighbor's power outlet and use his power and charge it so nobody ever knows. It's going to be great. So definitely hit me up if you have the potential to hook me up on something like that. Let's see. Looks like there's a conversation going on in the chat that I'm not able to go here. Oh man, there's some weird stuff in the chat. I don't even want to go there. Have you seen Extreme Tuner's new carbon fiber rods? I have. I saw those. Actually, I saved a picture of them because I thought they were really cool. They look cool. See if I can find it real quick. But I saw those rods. Here we go. I saw these rods. They're like carbon printed connecting rods. This looks like it's for an Evo. I know those guys are big Evo guys, but I'm curious to see how they come out, because honestly, the carbon tubes are super strong. They're super rigid, but brittle, I would imagine. So I don't know how they would stand up and up on them. It says my connection is unstable. So if I'm losing you guys, I'm sorry. Oh man, we're already at an hour. So I think I'm going to hang it up. Unless you guys got a super chat question for me, get it in now. Otherwise, I'm going to jump off because I actually am getting pretty hungry and I want to go do some errands before I fall asleep. But anyway, I will mention it one more time. If anybody has a connection with the e-bike stuff, those bicycle or battery-powered bicycle, motorcycle-looking things, something without pedals, you know, it's like a motorcycle, but it looks formidable. I'd like to get into that. Hit me up. Send me a message on in the emails, jack@horsepowerlogic.com. If you guys want to follow the Mind PI app, it's in the comments. Check it out. Become part of the circle. Let me see if anybody joined while we were on here. Yeah, we did. We got a couple. We got like 4 or 5. So thanks to you guys. So if you go on there, I opened a chat in there. So it's a pretty fun little chat in there as well. If you talk in there, I'm checking that constantly. So, all right. Well, I will let you guys go. I'm going to head out. Looks like the super chat is dead. So we're going to go ahead and hang it up. But I appreciate you guys tuning in while we had this little live stream. I'm going to leave it up so you guys can go watch it again. If you missed it or if you're coming in late, you can go watch the whole thing again. And I will be available through my normal lines of communication. So hit me up. Go watch the other videos on YouTube. I answer all the questions. I read every single comment. That's my thing. I read all the comments. I answer as many questions as you give me. And I try to stay active with that. So I I will catch you guys in the next one. Thanks a lot, and happy holidays to everybody. I hope everybody's safe and having a fun time. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.